Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the third addition to AEC Tier S. Yes, indeed, we've made it past the first two. NRX edged the first one, MVR edged the second. Who will edge the third? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this third incredible season of AEC Tier S. I am Mark Greenhorn, and well, yes, you're not used to hearing me at the front. Usually I'm chucked to the back behind Mr. Joseph F1, but he sacked us off and is now on his way to EOR. So good luck, Joseph. But you've taken a massive opportunity. I think you've took the wrong, because AEC is life and AEC is the best. But anyway, you've got me for the rest of the season. Along with me, you'll have other two people. Usually it'd be Mr. BRT Jim, but tonight you're joined by the old man himself, Mr. ESV Bobbers. Welcome along, Bobbers. I'm glad to have you here. And you had your first taste of action last season, now in full time for this season.
Indeed, yes. Good evening, everybody. It's at least it's time we can actually do this together and have the the shambles that we had at the end of last season. So yeah, no, good to be here. Good to be doing a part-time commentary aspect to get back into the swing of things as I did back in the day. So yeah, no, excited to be a part of this, and let's see what we can bring. But it's out with one Shazoo commentator and in with another. Out with the new and back in with the old.
Back in with the old, indeed. Right, we are here at round one. You will see on your screens. We are here down under in Melbourne, Australia. Personally, one of my favourite tries to commentate on. What a race it was. Oh, bit crackly, right? Okay, we're going to fix issues early then. I'm going to do that quickly. Hold on a minute. Bobbers, let me just do that. I'll try and fix all the issues quickly. Sorry about that. Thank you, Tom Net, for telling me about that. Let me invite Bobbers back. Let me know if it's still the same. I can't really hear it, so let me just try this. Right, Bobbers, give it a try now. Mr. Tomnip asked me to do a restart just in case it wasn't it was still crackling. Right, include your audio and try it now for us.
Yeah, I'm guessing it was me. Was it, or is it?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out. Tom, just let me know in the chat if there's anything wrong with it or whatever. Perfect. Right, we've fixed it. We've fixed it early on. Look how good we are.
Simple little fix.
Right. Simple little fix indeed. Right. We'll kick it off then. We'll have a look at the rosters for this season's AEC Tier S. 10 teams will be competing once again, out with the old with some of the new teams. In with the champions once again. Novice Racing return for their third season in AEC. First season they were third. First season they weren't even competing, Second season they came third, and now second season they won. I am actually waffling tonight. MVR won last season. It was down to the last race in Abu Dhabi. MVR clutched up in the end and took its season 2 champions. They're looking to retain that and be the first ever 2 in a row winners. Their roster looking very strong with the Scotsman Liam Bowman, the Hungarian MVR Gabor, MVR Ogwin, MVR Magician, Drobo 9276, and MVR Dawid, who should be Polish but has been given the British flag. But we will know that for now. Bowers, what do you think about MVR's lineup for this season?
Well, as everyone knows, MVR one of the top dogs when it comes to Xbox side. And now obviously we know that they're converting over to other platforms. But you look at their Xbox roster, and it's like, well, I don't think you can really get much better than that lineup. I mean, obviously you've got everyone knows about Liam and how great he's become on this game. Obviously Gabor switching from BRT to NVR. See how he adapts into another league, into his new team. But overall, it's a very strong lineup. I don't really think you can improve on it too much, if anything at all.
Yeah, improvements really aren't much for MVR need to do. But another team that looks to do one better than last season, Bunga Racing Team. They are back once again. BRT, at the loss of arguably 2 of their strongest drivers, being Gabor to MVR and Fury, as you'll see later on in another lineup. But once again, still a very strong lineup for the team that came second place last season. Joe Murphy back in again. BRT Lou, a new addition. Jaeger UK, one of their top assist drivers, moving over to the no assist scene. Carsey, one of their most loyal drivers around, to be honest with you. BRT Justin back with the team, and BRT ADEF winner. Bobbers, as a team that came second last season, surely the drive to win it just like that much higher.
Oh yes, it's like with any team, you want to, especially if you come second, you want to go that one step better. You want to beat the opposition that pipped you to it last year, and obviously in this case it was NVR pipping BRT to that title. So we're gonna have to see how they do. Obviously, they've lost 2 of arguably their best drivers, obviously to other teams. maybe a lot of the work could be on a couple of drivers' shoulders in here. You look at Joe Murphy, you look at Lou, Kazi in particular. I would say, it'd be interesting to see how Jaeger does, as you said. Moving from assist into running full time now, without assist. So yeah, he'll get his chance at some point during the season. But yeah, they just have to hope and keep the consistencies they did last year, but try and should outdo NVR at every given opportunity.
Yeah, it's going to be something that's going to be hard to do. MVR's depth in their whole roster is really something that is to be to be admired. But moving on then, Boberson, move over to your team. Indeed, let me just try and figure out how I do this again. I'm trying to. Here we go. Never mind. TTM's next. My apologies. I'll just let's have a look at TTM first. Top Tier Motorsport return once again. They were just pipped of third place last season. I'm sure they'll be looking to do one better as well. Zed Oxters back in for them this season. Their newest addition, PR Furious, from BRT last season, jumping in for TTM. This will be something to really look out for. TTM Placky as well, TTM Stonks, TTM Alessin, and TTM JT040. Another roster you really look at, Bowers. There's not many bad drivers at all.
No, I mean it's personally I think it's a definite improvement from last season. I mean, don't get me wrong, they had some good drivers last season, but when you include the likes of Zach coming back onto F1, it's good to see him back in again. I get on with him very well. Obviously, Furious is the biggest name there in terms of he's been in a couple of teams, but obviously he's here now at TTM and representing them. You've got Stonks back in full time racing again, so yeah, that team is very strong. Definitely one to watch out for, and in all honesty, could probably easily contend right at the top and even maybe win the whole thing. But it's a long season ahead.
Very long season ahead indeed. Next up, though, your very own Bobbers, Team Shizou, back again as we've seen last season. Third place for them. Once again, one of the more consistent teams on the grid. Their roster, again, though, absolutely stacked, top to bottom. PSR Arch, top in that roster. M Racer 9, the only one that isn't British. The full Brexit roster has been ruined, unfortunately. But Elite Risk
Yep.
is in as well. There's our ESV Bobbers is alongside me is in there. Shizou Venom 26 and Shiz Lurcho 6. With MVR Lucas returning as Lurcho 6, but into a new beginning for him in Shizou. Bobbers, what do you expect for the season, I should say now?
The target for us is, at least maintain where we were last season. But obviously, like everyone does, we all want to improve. We all want to gain places. I'd say you can't really improve on that team potentially. You could get rid of Venom. I don't know. Perhaps, unfortunately, he's racing tonight for us because there was nobody else who could. Just but no. I just hope that we can have a bit better luck this year. Few little issues that we had of our own last season, but we did also pick up some really good results. So yeah, like I said, the target is top three, but we would like to get first and second as everybody would.
Yeah, of course, that is something everyone looks to aim for. Let's not look at TTM again. Up next, Future Racing Team, another team returning back to AEC Tier S. Competed in the first season, competed in the second season. Now we are here for Season 3 with them as well. FRT Harvey, one of their co-owners, leading their lineup away. Dan Jones and their newest signing as well, FRT Sam. From their closest rivals, FGE, FRT Typical, ETA Agonized, who's actually FRT Agonized, and Supply Raptor, having his first ever appearance on the AEC roster. Congrats, main seal. That's exactly what we want to see. But Bobert's looking at it again. FRT, is it improvement from fifth last season, or what's the aim for them again this one?
I think for FLT, what they need to do is get rid of some of those slightly poorer performances that I think they had too much of last season. As I think it looks like we're having a lobby restart, unless it's just me. I could be wrong. But
No, yeah, I can. Yeah, we are having a little bit restart, unfortunately. Bob and Boy
Yeah.
has lagged out of the session. Okay,
Excellent. Get me
TRS
back
is
as
so
host
back.
then.
TRS is
Get me
back.
back as host. Yeah. But yeah, sorry. Speaking of FRT, I mean, yeah, they've got some good drivers, and obviously Harv's there, as you would expect him. He's there all the time. You can't get that man away from any competition going. He just likes to do everything. But I think Dan is an interesting one for me, to see what he can do this season for FRT. Obviously, you've got the usual names of obviously Typical, Agonized, but again, I think their biggest issue was consistency last season. So again, let's see what they do. Let's see what they can bring to the table. Obviously, starting tonight.
Yeah, looking to start off strong again. As we know, FRT can pull out results when needed, but another team is looking to try and regain where they were last season. A team that at the start of the season was actually in third place at one point. Sadly fell away in the end after a loss of some very good drivers, but one to not be neglected. False Group Esports, FG, Mr. Cabalda, back at it again for them. Simba Rocks 1 at the top of their lineup. FG Adrian back in there as well. Patrick Legger returns. Polo 9389. Welsh Jack, another driver, absolutely rapid on assists, making his switch over to the no assist side. And FGE Majkill, I'm going to go for the Czech driver, FGE
We'll
Majkill. Yeah, rounding out for FG as well. I'm not going into too much detail about all the teams. Let's have a look. The next roster being Team TF10, a team looking to really bounce back after what was not a great last season, but their roster much, much stronger. TF10 Tudi, the Romanian, leading the way. Their team captain, TF10 Tree, next to him. TF10 Nico, their newest signing in there as well. TF10 Flow, PSR Fairness, TF10 Fern, and MVR Julian, and TF10 Julian should we now be calling him as well. Next up being Alien Motorsport. AMS Gergo leads the way for them. Two Hungarians at the front of Aronka Hun and AMS Gergo. AMS Kieran 13 behind them. AMS Epic, AMS Tomo, and AMS Partick 67. One of the more long-term members of this community. Another one returning, Formula Racing Claret Esports. Originally had Mr. TTM Furious, but he has firmly moved on. And also FRC Sousa has actually just left the team, so I'm not sure what the changes for their lineup. Everybody will look away from that one as FRC Stanners is in there as well. FRC Rappy, FRC Alex, FRC Trixty, and FRC Sem. And finishing out every single one of the rosters being Artifix Sim Racing, the newest team added to AEC Tier S this season. The Cam Vice 675 Dream is alive and well, and the Fake TB lead the way for that lineup. Bourbon Boy 64, Sasha Andreo 2, CR F1 Easton, F1 Nico 22, and BXM 72. Well then, ladies and gentlemen, that is the rosters for this season. I'd like to know who you all think is going to be winning the championship. I'm sure MVR will be one of the favourites. Can BRT retain second? Can Team Shizou maybe finally make that championship charge? But we'll ignore all the lineups and move on, Bobbers, to this, I would have to say, lovely calendar. I'm a massive fan of this calendar. A bit of action in every single track. Kicking us off in Australia, round 2 in Kota. Third round being Netherlands, France for the fourth round, then a break week. Bobbers, first 4 rounds, what's the preferred pick for yourself?
I mean, see, Australia is. I love Australia as a track, but it is not a good track for me personally. That's obviously why I'm in the comms box and it's out on track. But the other 3, Kota, Zandvoort, and the Castle, I mean, 3 great tracks, 3 very good tracks. You'll see. I mean, I think the first time that you'll see me out, so is actually going to be round 4 in France. With I will. The details the teammate is going to be. Obviously, you can wait 3 weeks time for that. But, no, I think overall the calendar as a whole is really good. I just wish Char was there, but that's just obviously as a personal aspect for a pad driver. But no, on the whole, it looks like it's a very good calendar, and hopefully the calendar will help bring it into a very competitive, very good season.
Yeah, obviously after your break week there, you're into 5, 6, and 7 being Spain, Azerbaijan. I got to say, they're probably the two my personal least favourite tracks on that calendar. Brazil, 7th round, then another transfer week opens up for you after that's at the midway point of the season. Then Las Vegas being the introduction to this season, and Bahrain as well. So Las Vegas making its first appearance in AEC Tier S, Bobbers. You've raised your track there yourself, I'm sure. What's the thoughts on it? Is it going to be one of those tracks to look forward to? Should we try and have our expectations low? What's the thoughts?
I mean, I don't particularly like Vegas myself personally, but some people do like it. So, if it's anything, obviously off by a real life F1, but you'd expect a lot of outtakes. But especially that stupidly long 1 mile or so straight that it's got, obviously down the boulevard. But no, I expect it to bring action, as I'd expect most circuits to do so. But again, it's just going to come down to who's going to be racing, what everyone's expected to do, see. Well, let's wait and see. But personally, for me, it's my least favorite track on the calendar. I actually quite like Azet Baku. Actually, probably one of the only people that actually do like that circuit.
Yeah, it's not really one of those tracks you look forward to. It's one that's most known for its carnage, less for its overtakes. But we will ignore it for that one, because after that, I love that end of the calendar. Mexico makes it in round 10, Canada round 11, Singapore round 12, Imola round 13, and the usual AEC finisher, Abu Dhabi, for round number 14. I hope the championship does end up going all the way, mind you. I'd love to see another championship ender in Abu Dhabi like
Yeah.
it was with MVR and BRT. May it be different teams this season? We'll only have to wait and see. But the little run of Canada, Singapore, and Imola, I'm a personal fan favourite of that one. Bobbers, what's the thoughts then? Are we going to see an ESV Bobbers a Singapore race or not?
Again, I do like Singapore. It's probably not many people's, kind of cup of tea, I guess you could say. But no, I like Singapore. If I got the chance to do Singapore, I'd do Singapore. But as much as I like it, it's, as we all know, you want your two quickest drivers on that particular track to represent your team on that day. Um, I think there's people within the Shizou roster that are probably quicker than me at Singapore. But again, it's what, beginning of May. We've got 3 months until Singapore. A lot can happen. We could, who knows? People might swap teams in that time. I guess all we can do is wait and see.
Yeah, that is something you really need to think about as well. Teams might make that little bit of a switch during their roster for the certain times coming up. Obviously, round 7, they've all been, from round 1 to round 7, sorry, they've all been submitted, so they're all the drivers that will be competing. But after that, as you said, the transfer week could come, the better drivers could come in for those moments. I'm just hoping this lobby gets going shortly. I'm not sure who's actually missing. We're missing two McLarens and a BRT Joe Murphy. Who is the McLarens? I'm not too sure.
Zach is now here, so he was one of them.
Is it TTM that's McLaren? I think it is.
It is TTM, yes.
Okay.
It is.
Usual TTM. Tez, get them told. Come on. What's going on?
I mean, we can't blame it. I mean, we're blaming Biscuit Boy for this.
We are. We really, yeah. We should. It happened as I was looking at the roster. I didn't even see it happen, to be honest with you. But hopefully we'll get it going this time, and now we'll get it going soon. But yeah, I'm excited for today's race. Australia, it's one of those tracks that's just, quality is quite important because obviously there's not a lot of overtaking opportunities, to be honest with you. Down that long straight, even into the next corner, is still one of the harder places to overtake. We've seen it last season's final lap. PSR Arch for Team Shizou went for it at the end, but BRT Gabor snuck through on the inside and took that race win. He's not racing today, mind you, for novice racing, but BRT could end up winning it once again with Joe Murphy and Justin Boberts. Personally, looking at the grid tonight, who's your favourites?
Well, obviously you can't look back the usual teams up, but you generally see up at the front. So your NVRs, your BRTs, even, I'm not going to be biased, but obviously your Shizus as well. It is a strong lineup. I mean, I think, to be honest, well, obviously even TTM as well. But I think for me, Arch, I know Arch is really good at this track. I'd expect him to be up there. I expect Ogween to be up there. I think this is probably one of his stronger tracks. Personally as well. But I think I could easily probably name at least 5 or 6 people that could probably get pole here tonight. But we had a brief glimpse that it was, I think, a dry qualifying. Could be wrong. They could be completely changing it. But looking at it, it looks like it's going to be dry.
Yeah, I think they're just trying to make sure Boys make sure he gets everything corrected. He's going to have another lobby restart. Still waiting on 2 McLarens, mind you. I'm not sure what's going on here. Zach Oates is in the lobby. His teammate, I'm not actually sure who his teammate actually is. Let me just find out. His teammate being Furious. Where is Mr. F?
He's here now. He's in now.
Yeah, there he is. Thank goodness. Right. Pick your cars, gentlemen. Let's get this going quickly, please. This is taking absolutely forever. It's 8:15. We haven't even made a lap yet. What is going on? Goodness me. Right. We'll get it going soon. I'm sorry about the way that has happened here. It's out of my control. It's out of Bobbin's control. We need to bring back Bobbers as host. I absolutely back that, Bobbers, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
This is
yeah, no,
this is just disappointing. It's very disappointing. Right, it was good if they could pick their car as well. Zach Oates, he needs to pick. Actually, no, we can just start because it'll put him in a car.
It'll put him in the McLaren. Well, there we go.
Yeah, making sure. Right. Hopefully this doesn't mess up. If it does, I apologise on behalf of everyone, I guess. Let me just double check Park Fermi is off before he starts any of his shenanigans here. Park Fermi is off. Okay, everything looks fine to me. Everything looks okay.
I did just notice the braking assist, but yeah.
I don't think. I'm sure no one's using that.
Well, hey, you never know. There are
You
some
never
assist
know.
users in here that could be using it,
That's
just
true.
cheekily.
That's true. TTMB, for Sir Alex, he knows best. He likes a little switch between two at times.
Yeah, it all looks good to me besides that. So
Also on TTN causing an intentional restart again, chat. That is, that's likely. Could be. It
anything
could
could
be
happen.
likely. Moza, why have you redeemed ASMR Tom? I'm not Tom for a start, right? I'm not Tom. If there's an ASMR Ross option, I might actually do it, but there's not, so I can't do it. So that is unfortunate. Oh right, now we should be going. I've told everyone to ready up, so now we should be going.
I think he was just changing that braking assist that I told him I mentioned about.
Oh right, this should be it. This should be it, people. I'm
It's
sorry for
hopefully
the.
fingers crossed.
Yep, literally, this is just. It could be. It might not be. It might.
I think
Oh,
we might put a vote out that Bob never hosts again.
it could be. It could be a debate for the council to make. And just like Bobbert's host every week, he needs to get picked.
Yeah, whether I'm not racing every bloody week, God no.
Just pick him every week, Smiggy. Let's make it happen. Right, we're loading in.
Well, it's
We
between me and him
should
to do this roster lineup, so
It's true. We are finally loading in, ladies and gentlemen. See it on your screens. We are. Oh goodness me! It took a while. It took a while, but we got there in the end. Loading in. Fingers crossed we get in. Right, finally though, kicking off some short qualifying sessions. It's only took the 17 minutes. I once again I do apologise on behalf of Borbin for the for what's happened. Just waiting on two people to select their tyres. An interesting one for strategy today, to be honest, Bobbers. It could be a soft medium job for people. It could be a hard medium. You personally, what's the strategy call?
I think as a pad user, everyone knows pad drivers use their tyre wear is generally a little bit worse. It's one of those borderline calls, but I mean, for me personally, you'd do the hard medium, so long as it's going to be dry the whole way through, which I think it is. But but somebody someone towards the back might go down that soft medium route just to propel themselves, further up the grid to begin with, and then take the pain later in the race or in the stint. But again, I don't know what anyone's going to pick. I don't know what my team is going to do. It's down to them. I have no involvement in this whatsoever, apart from that I'll slate them if it doesn't work.
That's very much likely to be fair. Right, finally seeing cars out on track and successfully this time. Last time they were all on the wall, going straight on. Now, Shizu Venom is leading the way for TRS opening round. Finally, from qualifying laps coming in for you all, ladies and gentlemen. 17 minutes of qualifying action to go through. Venom's going to get us kicked off. One of the pad drivers on the grid. Once again, Australia is one of those tracks where pad and wheel are not really either a benefit. Wheel maybe very slightly, but I wouldn't say much that wheel is massively better than pad here, especially with the new pad technology introduced in the new game. So I'm really interested to see how it's going to get going. Last season, actually, I want to check who got pole last season. I believe it was Arch, but I'm gonna double check that. Anyway, though, Venom on his way out. Balls, what kind of times are we expecting? Because I have absolutely no idea.
I'll be brutally honest. I have absolutely no idea myself. The only thing I do know is that we're expecting somewhere between 0.0s to maybe 0.2s, something like that, towards the front, as Venom's now been overtaken by one of the TTM drivers. I was going to say it's the only time that Venom is going to be at the front of a train, but I can't say that now. But it looks like Mr. Furious has decided that he would like to go first instead and take the limelight and take the the spotlight.
He does indeed. He took off Venom's spotlight. Sorry, Venom. The McLaren's in the way. He's coming up towards the last two corners. Turn 15 and 16. Corners here named after a lot of former drivers. You'll realise that as we go for the lap here, with TTM's newest driver being top tier Motorsport Fears getting kicked off for AEC TRS Season 3. Coming down towards turn number 1 and 2. Then you've got Brabham into turn 1 here. You want to try and miss that curb on the outside and follow it through all the way at turn 2 through Jones. Short little straight here. DRS not really one of the places where it'll give you much of an advantage for overtaking, but it is very much possible. Dropping it late in the third gear gear there. Through he goes turn 3 and turn 4. Get really close to that inside curb. You want to try and avoid that last curb as much as possible, but he does it really nicely. Fly out through turn number 5 at Whiteford, down past towards Albert Road on the left hand side. Turn 6, turn 7 and turn 8 all come at you so fast. The newly additioned turn 8 after the updates back in 2021, but he carries on with the rest of his lap though. DRS opens now down this long straight, a prime overtaking opportunity, you've got to say, coming all the way down this straight. Through he comes in for turn number 11 and 12, the fastest corners on the track. Through down in the 6th gear, takes a lot of curb on the exit of turn number 12, down this small straight once again. A good place where DRS can be very effective if you get that good enough exit out of turn number 12. Turn 13 then, through he comes at Ascari, keeping it really close to that outside curb. Turn 14 at Stewart on the inside now, doesn't want to try and clip too much of the inside curb because your car can be irritated and spun round. Turn 15 taken perfectly at Prost, can be up into 4th gear nice and early. Good exit out of the corner. DRS opens now for the McLaren car as PR furious for TTM. Going to cross the line now, and it is a 16.6 to start us off of the EEC Tier S season.
Yeah, good decent effort there by Furious to get us under. As Magician now goes ahead of Venom. Venom didn't have a particularly good lap as there we go. Arch straight back at the top. We know he likes this track. And there we go, puts a 10th straight away on Furious and immediately replaced by John Murphy. Times are just going to keep tumbling.
The times are getting faster and faster. Ogwyn now jumping up into a 16.5 next across the line, being the Aston Martin BRT Justin. He's going to cross the line, but no time set for him. FTF10 Nico next across the line. Can he go to the top of the session? He crossed the line. 16.866 for the Alfa Romeo. The Alpine coming up soon next of him. Good time so far from a lot of the drivers. Chasha Andre only into the 17.2s. Can the Ferrari of FRC Alex or FRC Rappi get himself started on a lap? We'll say Alex might have invalidated on his first attempt. How is Zach Oates doing? Coming around that final corner now. He is still valid. And in the track limits as DRS opens for Zach Oates. Now he's going to cross the line shortly for Top Tier Motorsport. To the line he comes. It's P5 and P4 for TTM early on.
Yep, decent start for them. I was actually on board with Trey. It looked like he was on a half-decent lap, but he invalidated at the third to last corner. As Dan coming across the line now, goes into P5, splits the TTM boys with a 16.6. A good opening lap there from Dan, actually. But I watched the last sector and it looked good. Looked very good.
Yeah, Dan hooking up nicely for FRT early on. P5, it's a good banker lap to have. AMS Kieran just coming towards the end of Sector 1, and now the rest of the people just kind of finishing off their laps. Nico still in P7 there. Sam up in P8 as well. Venom still down in P10. Magician not breaking the 16 barrier early on, only a 17.0 for him. AMS Kieran still flying on. For Alien Motorsport, couple of cars coming through that final corner now, so a very busy Sector 3 and Sector 2 for AMS Kieran. No laps currently though for any of the AMS drivers, any FGE drivers either, or FRC, sorry, either Alex and Rapley not got any, and so far DRS now open for AMS Kieran. He tumbles down toward turn number 13 at Ascari, keeping it really close to the outside wall. He's going to turn it in nice and late, but almost wide of the apex slightly. He's got a car in front of him, hopefully won't be any blocking penalties early on. He takes a lot of curb there on entry. I'm not sure you want to be doing that, as that will hinder you a little bit on the entry of the corner. And as much on exit, goes for the final corner now at turn number 16. Get it really close to the outside curb. Can AMS Kieran break the 17 barrier early on for AMS? Going to cross the line now, 17.1 ahead of Venom for P10.
Yeah, that last sector, watching it on board with the last sector, there's quite a lot of people, as you said, had invalidated on their lap times, but Kieran wasn't one of them. But yeah, that last sector took a bit too much curb. Again, throughout that flat, well, I want to say flat out fifth gear corner, but as his teammate just actually pips ahead of him, goes into P9 and ahead of Magician. But so 9th and 11th isn't a bad start, but obviously you want to you do want to get into those 60, those low to mid 16s as the session is going to continue. But obviously quite a few people invalidating their first runs. They're going to need to obviously rectify that going into their second and third attempts, as Patrick is already out for his second run.
Yeah, people getting out nice and early for their second runs now. Joe Murphy, though, still at the top of the timesheet, 16.438, one of the best bankers we will see so far. Arch, 16.5, Ogwyn, 0.5 as well. Only 3 drivers breaking the 0.5 so far, 2 breaking the 0.6s. It's overall, you got to say, a pretty slow qualifying so far. Not really one that I would expect to be much faster, to be fair, though. Joe Murphy should have somewhere around a 10th, maybe 2 in his lap to break that 0.2 barrier, maybe even a 0.1. I'd love to see it as early on as round 1, but we should be seeing everyone starting to get themselves back out for some laps. Looks to be a busy pit lane now as people start to come into the pits, but people coming out as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Australia is one of those tracks where, obviously, there are some easier, some harder corners you expect with every circuit, but I think it's very hard to nail a lap here. You know, one small mistake can cost you a tenth, 2/10, even more. And especially the likes of turn one, turn three, and then more in particular the fast left right, the start of sector three. That is your make or break area, I think, for definite.
Yeah, the fast left right being arguably the hardest corner on the track to hook up. You just got to try and not eat too much curb to give your car enough irritation on the exit. But as we've seen Furious do, he eats a lot of curb on the entry, but on the exit he doesn't hinder himself either. So maybe that is probably the more efficient line to go through. But some might play it safe and try to dodge the curb altogether, which will lose you some time. But then again, you're playing it safe and getting a good lap. And on the other hand, no Furious get himself going once again for TTM. Currently sat at fourth place, 16.616 so far for him. If he can gain about a tenth in this lap, it could be to the top of the timesheets, coming towards the middle part of sector 1. Then through he comes at turn number 3 and 4, dropping at third gear late once again. You see that outside curbs, all the curbs being really, really highly raised at this track, not being nice to the car at all. Then he comes in at the flat out of turn 5 at Whiteford, taking a lot of curb on exit again, but he carries on the rest of the lap, a tenth and a half up, and a purple first sector for TTM Furious. It's exactly what you want to see so far in the lap.
It is definitely indeed. I'm actually on board with Patrick. Actually, he's coming to the end of his lap. I thought he was going to get blocked there by the Alfa Romeo there coming to into the last few corners. But it's actually been a good lap here for Patrick. That first sector was not particularly good. Middle sector though was very good. See if he's going to break into the 16s. Not quite actually. Must have made a mistake in the last sector that I've missed. But only P14 will hopefully can do better. Get up there to, towards his teammate in P11.
Yeah, FGE off to a slower start than usual. We'd like to see, but Furious, tell you what, has had a really nice lap here so far. I didn't catch his middle of the sector, but I believe he's still up on his time. He's had an optimal first sector. Can he carry on with the rest of the lap he's got now and put it to the top of the time? He's ahead of Joe Murphy. Across the line comes Furious, and yes, he can, just by 0.002 of a second. Joe Murphy is pipped for first by PR Furious, a 16.436. He's not the way to see, but Joe Murphy answers back. 16.312. Have a bit of that, Furious, because Joe's not letting you have on that easy.
Counter punch and then a sucker punch there from Joe Murphy, just showing his magician now goes in between and goes into P2, getting his 16 lap time on the board. But yeah, Joe Murphy showing Furious there exactly how it's done. Yeah, just to get over one of them. This is the thing, you want to get one over on your rivals early on. I thought Archer was going to get blocked there on his lap by the Haas there. That was extremely tight. And Archer's now just gone sliding into a scurry there. That's his lap done. He wasn't actually up on his time, but he definitely will not be happy with whichever Haas driver that was.
Yeah, really close there. Arch backs out of his lap due to that almost block. You could say it was something that was heart and mouth moment, you've got to say, for Arch. But Dan Jones, on the other hand, no, he's just continuing on with the rest of his lap there in Sector 1. It seems to be alright so far. We'll see as he comes up towards the end of this Sector 1 split now. Is he up, is he down during that Sector 1? He's a tenth and a half up in that first sector, looking to be an early 0.5, possibly a 0.4 for the FRT driver. Exactly what you want to see for future racing team, looking to do one better than they did last season, maybe even two, and go for that third place spot for Season 2. Going for Season 3 though, I'm sure they want to look further ahead. But Dan Jones still up on his time, a tenth up in Sector 2. He lost a little bit of time during that part of the lap, but still hooked up really nicely. And towards the end he comes of his lap here in Sector 3. Turn 13 at Ascari coming up shortly, dropping at third gear all the way through. Good amount of traction on exit as he carries on with the rest of the lap. At turn 14 now at Stewart, turn 15 at Prost coming up now as well. Dan Jones, he's invalidated, sorry, I've just caught on there. Dan Jones invalidates, I believe it must have been on the entry at Prost at turn number 15. I'm not sure where he's done it, but yeah, he is invalidated and back into the pits. How's Zach Ox doing? He's going to cross the line shortly. Zach Ox test cross the line, and it's a 16.669 for him so far. As well, Magician also jumped up into the second place, and Venom just jumps up into third place there with a 16.434.
That came out of absolutely nowhere. I mean, I was busy watching Zach, actually, thinking it was a smooth lap, it was a good lap, but he didn't actually improve in his position, he just improved his time. But yeah, Venom there with a 16.4 out of nowhere, and has actually surprised me a little bit. But, it's early days, anything could happen. Everyone's still got a final run yet to do, but not Venom. Actually get ahead of Arch, actually, at this early stage, obviously. So P3 and 5, I'll take that for the time being. We'll end qualifying there, that's fine. I'll take that.
Yeah, BRT Justin just jumping up into 7th place there with his first lap of the session. Tree, FTF10 Tree and FRC Alex yet to get a lap on the board for their respective teams so far, so not good for either of those guys. How is Bourbon Boy doing? He's in the pits for ATX, so I don't think anyone else on a lap. I think we're going to have a little bit of a slower
Amos
part.
Kieran in the Haas is on a lap, although he has just made a mistake going through the left-right. He was a tenth and a half up after the first sector, and of all people that's kind of half got in his way, it was his own teammate.
AMS love to block, don't they? That's twice.
They do, yes. That's what I think. Both. I think it was. What Gergo? I don't know how you pronounce that, but he's potentially blocked Arch through the fast. Through the right-hander. This is the DRS straight, and then blocking his own teammate, giving him some nice dirty air when he was a tenth and a half up on his time. Going to be a few fisticuffs there, do you think? Or do you think they might settle down?
I'd hope settle down. I don't want any sort of fisticuffs just yet. We're not at that. We're only in round 1, Joe Roberts. Let's have it a bit easier for now. But
but
the man at the top of the
boring,
timesheets.
though, isn't it?
It is. It's not. It's a bit boring. It is. But we can ignore it for now. BRT Joe Murphy, coming towards the end of sector 2 now, starting off sector 3 for his. I think maybe final lap. I can't see the time.
Will be,
I don't think there. Yeah, it's only about 4 minutes left. So. I think this maybe he has enough fueling for 2 laps is what I'm going to guess, and he's gone out nice and early. So Joe Murphy then 16.312. Can he break it and do one better and go into that 0.2 mark, maybe even a 0.1? Runs at the final corner then, starting off what will be his possible final lap of the qualifying session, just across the start finish line there. Starting off his respected lap here, dropping at 5th gear. When I missed that curb on entry, and he does it to perfection. There he goes then at turn number 2. He's done that absolutely beautifully. I've got to say improvement from ESV Bombers in the background. They're coming towards turn number 3 and number 4, keeping it 4th gear there all the way through. Usually see people drop the 3rd like furious, but no, Joe holds it 4th and will carry on the rest of this lap during this sector 1 part. Coming towards the end of the lap, they're hitting this part of the track. He is almost 3/4 of a tenth up in that first sector. He is indeed breaking that 0.2 barrier, but he knows himself. He wants that 0.1, maybe even a high 0.0. He's going to have DRS all the way down this straight. No toes given an AEC, because of course we know toes are banned for AEC Tier S. He's still up on his lap. He's gained a bit of time in that middle sector. Can he find any more in the final and possibly put a 0.1 on the board for BRT and give them a chance at a pole position once again in AEC Tier S? He's going through the final part of the track now. Turn number 13 attacked it out Zascari. Through 14 at Stewart. Still got 2 more corners to attack in that Aston Martin car. Turn 15 in Prost. Turn 16 coming up now the last corner. He's going 4th gear, nice and late. BRT Joe Murphy, can he keep it at the top? Can he improve what he's got? It's a 16.312. He's going to improve to a 16.305. What has happened in the final sector? He's lost almost half a tenth.
I think it was that penultimate corner. I think he took a bit too much grass. I don't know if it was on exit or onto entry on that right side, but I think he just lost a bit of grip. And as FSC Alex has been given an illegal blocking 5 players grid penalty. I mean, he is P19 at the moment, so it shouldn't really affect anything. But yeah, Joe, I think he's going to be a bit disappointed there. That was looking good for a 0.1, and I was almost going to give him a round of applause of approval, but no, doesn't get it now, I'm afraid.
Yeah, that was so close. I thought he had it in him. I thought he was going to do it, but as you said, it did look a bit wide on, so I wasn't too sure on it. But yeah, unfortunately, that is going to be it for Joe Murphy. At 16.3, the time to beat for the rest of the drivers. MVR Magician, his former teammate as well, not too far away from that. Venom Furious, 2 drivers still in the 0.4s as well. So anyone is up for pole here. And tell you what, TF10 Nico, the 10th up in that first sector, going for a 0.7 so far. He'll only move up into P10 of FRC Rapid. So you really want to try and find a bit more time here in this middle, possible 3rd sector as well. But look at how busy that 3rd sector is, Bobbers. We've really got to hope there's no more blocking pens. It's still a 10th up, and he's got a purple middle sector for TF10 Nico. Let's hope now that there's no blocking. He's got 1 more sector to attack. Can he put it higher than P11?
I don't see why he can't. I mean, so far everyone seems to be getting his way. Red Bull there getting out of his way as well. And let's just hope that this Ferrari at the last corner doesn't hold it up, but doesn't look like it's going to. Found a bit of a slide there into the penultimate corner. That's cost him probably half a tenth. But here we go, Nico to the line. Can he improve on P11? I hope so. P10. Probably lost a bit of time there, I think, in that last sector to what he could have done.
Yeah, it's not really where he wants to be, but it is all over for TF10 Nico. P10 at best for the German on debut in AEC TRS for TF10. How's MVR Magician doing? He's currently down in that middle sector. Not too good for the MVR driver. He's at least a 10th in this final sector to try and gain on Joe Murphy ahead. Shazoo Venom also still on a lap. We're going to see a couple of times flying on the time sheets very shortly to come towards the end of this qualifying session. 35 seconds to go for the rest of the grid. Magician coming through the final two corners now. Can he just hook this lap up and gain a bit of time? Joe went really wide here that cost him all his time. Magician seems to have hooked it up nicely. Through it goes in fourth gear all the way through. DRS was up for MVR Magician. Is it pole position for MVR again? Can BRT hold out for a little bit longer? Magician across the line. Some improvement, but not enough to move up into anywhere ahead of second place. It's just Venom's invalidated on his lap. He will not be getting a lap in. PR Furious going through the final corner now. Is it PR Furious's time to go to the top of the timesheets for Top Tier Motorsport? He's got DRS now. He's going to come across the line shortly. Is it Furious to the top? It's Furious to the top. A 16.219. It's the time you want to be set for pole. FRT Sam's going to be in 6th place so far.
Watch
for
out for
FRT.
Arch.
Can PSR Arch gain any time in this final sector? He's half a 10th down in the middle. Can Arch gain any time in the final set to go ahead? In P5 he can. He can indeed gain, but not enough to go ahead in P5. How else is everyone else doing? MVR Ogween has still got a little bit of his lap to go. He's actually finished and stuck there in P7. Dan Jones stays in 8th. How's Oxtis doing? He's up in his first sector and has got a lap in right at the death of it. He was a 10th up, but I think he has actually backed out now, and he has indeed backed out of his lap. Ladies and gentlemen, what a qualifying session we have had. It's PR Furious though, in the end, on the front row and on the front of everyone is pole position for Top Tier Motorsport.
Certainly is indeed, and Joe Murphy might be kicking himself now for that mistake in Sector 3. That definitely has cost him pole, but he's still in the front row. But obviously, who doesn't want to start on first? Ogwin actually invalidated his final lap, and that his final lap would have actually been enough for P3, which would have meant an NVR's full second row. But instead, obviously, he's down in P7. But yeah, what a start for Furious and his new team in TTM. He's going to be delighted. You can't get better than that.
Yeah, absolutely. TTM 1 and 9 for them so far. Joe Murphy in second. Magician and Venom will lock out that second grid with Venom's teammate Arch just one behind him as well. Sam, what a performance for him. P6 on AEC TRS debut for FRT. Ogween in 7th. Dan Jones in 8th. Oxtis in 9th. TF10 Tree in 10th. Simbarox in 11th. Justin in 12th. Gergo in 13th. And TF10 Nico rounding out the points bonus positions in 14th place. And behind then you've got Sasha Andre, AMS Kieran, FRC Rappy, Bourbon Boy 64, Patrick Legger, and FRC Alex didn't set a time in the end.
Yeah, not a good start for Alex in his new team, but at least it means with his 5 plays grid penalty, we don't actually have to restart the lobby again. So at least we could just go straight into the race. But yeah, as you've just gone through the grid for us, obviously a POV is on pole position here for the Australian Grand Prix. Tactics though going into the obviously on the first lap, he's obviously going to want to stay ahead of Joe Murphy, but I think based off off that qualifying, obviously we know Joe had more to give. Do you think he'll have more to give in the race though, Ross? I don't know.
Well, we know what Joe's like. We know he likes to win, and I know he likes to win. Usually, ends up being on his own. So BRT Justin down in 12th, not going to be a lot of help. So yeah, he's going to have a tough task ahead of him though. He's got MVR Magician, in behind him. Furious ahead. 2 former teammates. As a BRT would be a 1-2-3 if they're all still in the team. Joe Murphy second still though. Venom and Arch 2 to watch out for, I've got to say. Sam as well. Not really surprisingly, but still sat in 6th place. Ogween is still going to come through the field, and Dan Jones as well in 8th. Don't count out TF10 Tree either, another driver that can really make a difference from the back. But look at how close that qualifying was, other than, of course, Furious being about a 10th clear, but everyone else in that midfield pack being separated by about 2 tenths.
Yeah, that midfield was extremely, extremely tight, a lot closer than I anticipated. But qualifying is one thing, race is another. Some people are actually more known to be qualifying merchants than race merchants, but be interesting to see what some of these midfield runners do for strategy. Could we see somebody start on those soft tyres if they've saved a set of sauce, or if they went for the softer compound? Time will tell. Time will tell. But
yeah, if you're coming from the back, it wouldn't hurt to go in softs. You wouldn't lose anything. Like the likes of Alex, haven't set a lap. You wouldn't lose anything going to softs. Try and make some positions up. Maybe some contact ahead can help you out as well. It's something that's got to play on the mind of the driver and also the engineer as well if they are there. If they're gonna make that gamble on the soft, you've got to make it work. You've got to be aggressive, make the overtakes happen. If you sit behind too long, your soft's gonna die out and you're gonna lose that advantage that you're gonna have at the start of the race.
Definitely as well, but I think at the same time as well, if you are starting at the back on a track that is, we know is difficult for it to overtake. I mean, realistically, you've only got perhaps three areas to overtake. You know, being turn one, turn three, maybe into the left-right start sector three, but realistically, that's about it. So I don't think soft tires is probably the way to go for those in the back. I'd probably go on the hards and just try and stay in the train and maybe just try something different with the strategy, whether if it's an undercut, overcut. Um, Again, time will tell as to what everyone's engineers are going to get them to decide. But it does seem like at the moment that most drivers are going for the hard compound tyre.
Yeah, that seems like one of the preferred strategies. I was gonna guess as being a hard or a soft compound tire to start on, but I'm gonna just tell everyone to just go now. I think that's been enough time. It's been about
We've
uh
waited long enough considering the restart.
yeah. I think that's gonna be time for everyone to ready up and get us going for now. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in so far. We've got the full race ahead of us. It's TTM Furious on pole. BRT Joe Murphy alongside him in the front row. Such a close qualifying. How close will the race be, though? We know how big the DRS range can be and how consistent you need to be around this track, especially with how hard the curbs are on you. Take a one curb a little bit too much, you'll be spinning round and sent into the wall. But everyone should be readying up very, very shortly. Bobbert's early prediction, who do you think is going to win the race?
Um, as you know, I don't want to be biased and say one of my own teammates, but I think looking at obviously from what I saw in qualifying, I am going to go with Joe Murphy. Joe's my prediction.
That is fair enough. Personally, for me, I'm going to back TTM. I'm going to give it to Furious. I think I'm going to hold out this time. They usually have something in the race that either ruins them or they ruin their own race themselves. But I think this time, I'm going to back TTM this time and give it to Furious. And say Furious is going to win. But podium joiners, I'll shove Joe Murphy in there. I'm going to shove Ogwin in there, sorry. I think Ogwin's going to come through the field and end up having a good race as well. I'm sure we should be going soon. Hopefully.
Yep.
Here we go then. 3, 4 and all 5 red lights on for season 3 of TRS. Furious on pole, Joe Murphy alongside, all cars are rolling and we are lights out here in Melbourne. Furious gets away really, really well. Joe Murphy looks to get away alongside him as well. They all go through turn 1 pretty nicely. MVR Magician gets through there. Joe Murphy's in second. Dan Jones seems to be up in 8th. A lot of movement going over in the midfield pack, but Joe Murphy and Furious hold first and second. But look at Magician willing to go wheel to wheel into turn number 3 and 4. Magician's on the inside. He's through and into second place so far. Great finish. Oh, spinner at the back.
Oh.
That's Arch. Arch is spun at the back. That's down to P920 for him and Tree as well. Down into P19. 3-second penalty for Sasha Andre already. What a start to the race. Magician's up in second. Joe's down in third. Venom hold fourth. And Ogwin's already up in fifth.
That's a chaotic start. It's definitely not what Arch wanted at turn 3. I didn't see what happened. But the reason why those NVR boys are making a move up the field, they are both on the soft compounder tyre as Ogwin has now gone for the move on Venom. I think Venom just deciding and realising with Ogwin being on the quicker compound, just let it go, sit behind him, just use him to drag you along. But yeah, not a great start. And obviously Trey and Zach actually also involved in that turn 3 incident.
Oh, collision there! Ogwin on the inside on Joe Murphy. Sort of cut you off, Powers. Ogwin on the inside. They were on board with Ogwin. A very luxurious dive bomb on the inside. He thought about it for a while. Picked the inside line and no space there between himself and Joe Murphy. I'm not sure who's partially to blame. Did Joe turn in? Did Ogwin go for a send? It was not meant to happen. But yeah, unfortunately, that has ended up disaster for Joe Murphy. And he's down in P6.
It could have been a lot worse. I think Joe definitely gave him enough space from where I was looking. I think Ogwin just went for. It's kind of one of those 6 to 1 half dozen of the other sort of moves. I think he had to go for it. He was already committed. But thankfully, at least Joe is still moving in the right direction. But obviously, he's got work to do now, being down in P6 in between the two FRT boys.
Yeah, it really is going to be hard work for him. Justin now up in 8th place as well. FRT Sam's dropped back with Joe Murphy now down in 6th. But what a hectic start we've had so far. The soft comp and attire, though, working for MVR balls. I got to say, they've made those moves early. Magician's at the front. Ogwin is chasing down Furious for second place. Dan Jones going to get that move done, it looks like. Joe Murphy getting that move done on Dan Jones. Sorry, Dan Jones back in at P6. And Joe is through into 5th place. Joe not making easy work of it so far. He obviously got hit there on the first lap, but getting back into that train already and looking to get to the front once again.
Yeah, definitely. He burnt about 20% of his battery there just to get her down. I think he just obviously he probably thinks that he's quicker out of all these drivers that are around him. He's probably right with that. I mean, Venom is now just dipped outside of the DRS zone, out of the 1 second detection point. So I think Joe will want to try closing that gap to him and then be the leader of this train to maybe try and close in the top 3 as Ogween gets into the 119 straight away, the fastest lap of the race, as the front 3 start to pull away.
Yeah, you see the softs as well in the midfield pack for TF10. Nico being selected, and we'll see what he can do to jump aboard with him coming down through the exit of turn number 2. They're using that ERS as expected, being aggressive with the soft component attack. Goes to the inside lane, it's late on the brakes for the German. A good move there, going on the exit of turn number 4 through turn number 5. Fantastic from TF10 Nico. He's up into 9th place for Team TF10. The soft component tyre bombers looking the preferred tyre to be on currently, but as the race goes on, we know those hards will come in and they will be a little bit better at some point later on.
Definitely indeed, as here goes Joe Murphy now once again, burning that battery a little bit, has the DRS, and as predicted, goes ahead of Venom to lead this train. Both of them are on the same amount of battery. Well, actually, no, Joe's now down and under 40% on battery, but he's got 1.7 second gap to the top 3. Of Ogween is still staying behind Furious. A little surprised on that, but maybe I think Furious on these even on these hard tires, his pace is really showing.
Yeah, I tell you what, Furious keeping with these two is exactly what he has to do at the front. Just stick with them for a little while, and sooner rather than later, those tyres will drop off, and he will have better tyres on them. So, yeah, currently Furious playing exactly what he needs to do so far. Just follow Magician, use a bit of battery if need be, but he knows that if Magician burns, he can burn as well and cover it off.
Oh.
Spin at the back there for Bourbon Boy 64 at ATX. That is a spin, and now down into last place is Sasha Andre, because this is in P11, but with a 3-second time penalty to his name early on.
Yeah, I think he was just trying to avoid all that carnage, and I'm guessing the game just gave him a straight-up 3-second time penalty. As Trey looks like he's going for the move, nope, decides to back out of it on Zach. Both of these drivers on the soft compounded tyre, and just ahead of them, I think there was a bit of argy-bargy between Gergo and Rapids, and one of them was definitely sent off track.
Yeah, TF10 not having a great start so far. Nico up in 9th though. Trey still down in 15th. Ox is having a great exit coming through turn number 8 there. They all jump on down the straight. DRS is out active, so they can use that to their advantage. Oxtiz and Tree not really making the sauce work as good as the likes of Nico, Ogween and Magician, but then again, you do have these two that can still make it happen so far. It's only lap 4 of 29, so the tires will still be good. Oh, big mistake there from Tree! Oh, what? Okay, my game's
nice
just
lag.
lagged heavily.
Nice lag.
Yeah,
no,
my
game's
game's just lagged so heavily.
Oh, and
he was in the gravel.
Ahead of Zach, and now he's ahead of
yeah,
Zach.
Trey is still ahead of Zach. Okay, yeah, the game's lagging. The game's lagging.
As Alex, obviously, lap 4 already, and already picking up a 3-second time penalty. It's going to be a long afternoon for him. But yeah, I think I don't know what happened there, but I do think that obviously the reason why both Trey and Zach are down the field, even though they're on their soft compounded tyres, as we said, you know, they were involved in that lap 1, turn 3 collision. Whether they were the one of them hit Arch, I wouldn't have thought so, because you know, Zach was in 9th and Trey was qualified 10th, and Arch was up in P5. So I don't know, unless someone sent it from, you know, 7 car lengths back. I don't know what happened there, but either way, at least Archer's now caught back up into this chain of what is a near enough 19 car train. As Joe has actually closed that gap to the top 3. He's only 2/10 now outside of DRS, but he has burnt his battery. Joe has got nothing left to give.
Yeah, it's what's mandatory needed to do, though. He needs to start using that battery, because PR Furious has went for the lead of the race and got the lead of the race. Instead of holding back now, he took the lead on the hard compound tyre. The softs now in a range where they might be at a drop-off point coming up in the next maybe 2 or 3 laps. But Furious not waiting around, back ahead of these two MVR drivers. BRT Joe Murphy, you said, was catching up, Boberts. He just lost about 4/10 in that middle sector.
Yeah, that's just what happens when you've got absolutely no ERS to play with whatsoever. He burnt it to try and get it in, you know, before the detection point. It didn't work, and he might now pay as a result of it. But obviously, as we know, as these soft tyre runners start to drop off their pace, you know, as time goes on, he will slowly get back in it. I think, to be honest, it might only take a couple more laps, and he actually might get the DRS on them.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too far. His first sector's looking really good, I have to say. On Joe Murphy, he's already caught up about 5/10 in that first sector, but Venom is also keeping up with him. Dan Jones and FRT Sam holding 6 and 7. Justin up still in 8th place. Soft tyres still holding on, still keeping up. Hard tyres still looking to get better and better as this race goes on. So Yeah, hopefully this stays as it is for Furious. Magician and Ogween need to keep where they're going. That's Alex with another 3 second time plate to his name. We're only
Oh,
six
and
laps in.
he's had a spin to go with it.
Perfect.
I was just definitely going to say these soft tyres definitely look like they're dropping off because Nico has now dropped outside of DRS and is really struggling. And Simbarox is trying to go for an outside move. That's I don't know who's to blame there, but well, Nico's tyres are definitely gone, and Simbarox just says, "Thank you very much. I'll take P9," and Sasha follows him through.
Yeah, ATX and FG working together and getting through. TF10 Nico, who it looks to me like might have some damage, bobbers, because those soft tyres aren't as bad on the front guys. But Nico all of a sudden's had a massive drop in pace, which is something that I did not, I've not seen before. So yeah, I'm thinking that may be some sort of damage, or maybe he's just actually really struggling in this moment in the race. But the other front train still doing well, but 1.8 seconds back for Simbarox 1. Big catch up needed to keep up with this top 8 train.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think Nico made a mistake somewhere at the end of Sector 1, beginning of Sector 2. I mean, he was teetering on the edge as it was anyway, but I think he made a big mistake because he had plenty of ERS to try and stick with them. As Rapids has made a mistake, he's gone for a spin. Don't know who he's had contact with, but FRC not having a good day.
Yeah, it's not been a good day so far for Formula Racing Claret Esports. It's just something that's unfortunately happened for them. Rapids is now in 18th. Alex at the back, 6 seconds of penalties. Apparently has hit someone as well. Has apparently hit one of the FGE drivers according to Cabalda. So yeah, not been a good day so far for them. Big battle in the midfield there between AMS Kieran, Oxtez and Tree. We'll see what's going on down there. There seems to be still going on between Tree and Oxtez. You see Tree there looking to go side by side with him going into turn number 13. He's going to try to see it outside, doesn't get the outside, and Oxtez holds position, and that's Alex. Another 3 second time, but it's on at the spin. That's Justin. Justin spun on the entry of turn 14, but it took too much curb and is now down in P17.
It was looking good there for BRT and for Justin. He was at the back of that top 8 train, looking comfortable and kind of, well, not quite gone from hero to zero. He's got plenty of time, but that's already big points dropped. If you obviously one way to look at it from there, and he's now got all that work to try and do to get back up into the top 14.
Yeah, it's looking like something else. There you go, FRC Alex 8 laps
calls
in.
It a day.
Called it a day. Oh, late on the brakes, it was TF10 Tree. Caught the back of Oxtez, making a mistake all the way through that first sector. He seemed to carry on with this. Was lap. Oh, Jesus. Tree is having a really tough time.
Yeah, these
really
soft tyres
have
have definitely gone now because even these medium runners are now all over the back of them. So the SOS have gone. They've obviously overheated. They've been pushing too hard, and they've maybe overheated them, and the grip has just gone altogether as. Zach is now going for the move on Kieran just to try and get one place back, and Sasha does the same on Simba. But that gap between what is now P7 and 8 has now grown to nearly 3 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Murphy now top of that train as well. If you see Bobbers Furious really close to the back of Ogween and Venom still in that train as well. So yeah, top 7 train still going strong. 2.8 seconds clear at 7th place FRT Sam to an 8th place Sasha Andreo too. So yeah, this train is evolving so far. As you said, the soft tyres look to have dropped off right about now. We see Tree has been struggling, TF10 Nico and Oxtez are all struggling. So Ogween and Magician can't really hold out for much longer, surely, and maybe think about a pit stop onto the medium tyre sooner rather than later. But then again, Bobbers, how long do mediums actually go though? Can they take them 20 laps, or is it going to be a point where they're going to be like in a bad place?
Furious. Jesus. I was just watching on board with Ogween there, and Furious, I think, locked the brakes and nearly tapped the back of Magician and had to turn out of the corner just so he didn't send him round. But yeah, I mean, these soft tyre runners are going to have to get these to go at least another 3 or 4 laps. Just, the mediums aren't much better in terms of tyre wear. And as we know, yes, undercut is one thing, but drop-off is something else altogether. So yeah, the MVR boys in particular, being first and third, obviously one's going to have to jump first before the other. But they're going to have to go at least another 3 or 4 laps.
Yeah, once again, AMS Kieran getting through his medium tyres on Oxtez. So yeah, those soft tyres are dying out and the hard tyres are catching back up because now Venom's on the back of BRT Joe Murphy. Simbarox 1's got a move done there on Sasha Andre for 8th place. It was like that battle for 8th is kind of on its own separate battle because this front train is really starting to break away from the guys behind. Magician though, leading to lap number 10. Still ahead of PR Furious in second place, Ogwin in third, BRT Joe Murphy in fourth, Venom in fifth, Dan Jones in sixth, and Sam still sat in seventh. So great team results so far for the likes of MVR and also for FRT, who hold a 6 and 7.
Yeah, as Archer's just decided to send that Red Bull into a, I was going to say a lawnmower, but now he's just lagged back into 16, so we've got a little bit more lag now in this lobby. Bring me back as host, I think. Yeah, we'll make a vote.
No vote needed. No vote needed.
No vote needed. No, we don't need to do that. But no, Arch picked up a time penalty on that previous lap, so what has obviously started off badly has just got even worse for Arch now. But yeah, we've still got a long way to go. Still got 20 laps, including this one. Top 7 in a train in their own. The FRT boys at the back of this train, both looking comfortable, and maybe they could actually, work together to maybe bring themselves further forward as Furious once again retakes the lead.
Yeah, Furious now ahead again of Magician. Ogwin still sat in third. Joe Murphy, though, might fancy his chances pretty soon. Those hard tires now will definitely be in a better window than the sauce leaned onto lap number 11. They're all going to have DRS once again going down the straight. The gap between Sam and Simbaros gets bigger and bigger with every single lap. I've got to say, these guys are really starting to break away and picking up the pace at this front train. When does a pit stop come for the likes of the soft compound of tyres? I'm not too sure. It should be somewhere in the region of 3 or 4 laps, I'm going to say. It's going to be my guess. Unfortunately, Joe Murphy pulling out with that slipstream. Doesn't want to make any sort of overtake as of right now to turn number 1 and 2. Wouldn't be a smart place to overtake, but he does have that long straight. If he wants to get by Ogwin pretty soon, which I'm sure he will, because sitting behind Ogwin is going to cost him time and time again.
Oh, definitely. I think actually we might see one of the MVR drivers pit the next lap, just try and get an undercut, because that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to base this race off an undercut, try and pull a big enough gap to the likes of Joe, to Furious, to Venom, and to the, to Dan and to Sam, and use that to try and pull themselves away. But whether or not that'll work in the latter stages, I don't know. As we know, tire drop off is one thing altogether, but yeah, that gap between 7th and 8th, as you mentioned, is slowly just growing and growing. That just shows the relentless pace that obviously that Furious and Magician in particular have been showing.
Yeah, Joe now burning the ERS, looking for that move on MVR Ogwin. He's burned his ERS. He's gone for the inside move. Oh, he's gone really deep on the brakes. A double overtake. Furious makes a mistake in front. BRT Joe Murphy. What a move for second place. He went for third. He got second in the end. Double overtake by Ogwin on Magician. Joe Murphy, hats off to you. It's exactly what you want to see. It puts MVR in a worse position they were 3 corners ago.
I don't know if that's what his intentions were, but he made it work. He made it stick, and Ogwin and Magician have just been looked like rookies. Fantastic move. That he did get a round of applause from qualifying for bottling his lap, but he definitely gets it for that. That was a great move. And now Venom is looking to do the same as well. Down the inside into turn 3. Can he get a double overtake here? No, one will do just for now. Hopefully just try and stick out. Ogwin still tries to keep his nose in, but that's it. That's just shown now. The soft tyres have definitely had it, and the hard tyre runners are just going to pull away.
Yeah, it's time for someone like Dan Jones to get by the soft runners as well. He's going to be held back by the pace of the likes of MVR Ogwin ahead. He's using his battery. He's got a lot saved up in this train. He's been sat there the whole time in 6th place. Now wants to go for 5th, forcing Ogwin into a move on Venom almost. He knows Dan Jones himself. If he focuses on exit here, he can pull a move off on the exit of turns number 11 and through turn 12 they come. Dan Jones gets a really good exit out of the corner, burning his ERS, using the DRS to his advantage. He's got slipstream as well. Pull to the inside line. Joe Murphy goes for the lead, and Dan Jones goes for 5th place on Ogwin. Ogwin gives him the space. Good defending there from MVR Ogwin in the soft compound attire, but Dan Jones backs out and accepts 6th place for now.
Yeah, these soft. I think one of the MVR drivers has got to pit this lap. There we go. Ogwin takes it. Yeah, I'd expect the second driver to pit first. So yeah, Ogwin takes the pit. He's going to go onto those medium tyres to the end of the race. That frees up both Dan and Sam. Dan are going to have to maybe use a little bit of VRS to just close in a little bit of Venom. But yeah, these hard tyre runners now are just going to have to work together a bit more. Just to obviously keeping the train, keep the gap, and just obviously keep an eye on these MVR boys as to what that gap is going to be by the time they all pit.
Yeah, the undercut really being something they need to use to their advantage now. Medium tyre selected for Ogween. He's out the pits and he's avoided that traffic of Orban Boy and FRC Rappy as well. So yeah, really good call on the undercut there from the MVR engineer, getting himself in 13th place so far for Ogween. Magician, I'm sure, will be in for in our next lap or two. Look at Shizou Venom. He wants to get by him soon as well. He's using the rest of his battery on about 25% now, using that DRS to his advantage as well. He's going to just follow on for the moment. Furious and Joe Murphy swap positions once again. Joe Murphy's backing off a little bit to give that lead place to Furious. They all go into this here braking very early as MVR Magician, but DRS exit now for Shizou Venom, burning that battery, defending his MVR Magician. I think Venom's going to back on there, but Venom's going to go for it on the inside, goes late on the brakes, and gets that third place from MVR Magician. Great stuff there from the hard runners. And Furious, Joe Murphy and Venom hold that 1, 2, 3 spot again.
Yeah, he had to get that done as Trey's gone for a spin through the left-right chicane. He hasn't got a puncture, so it is just a mistake from Trey. But yeah, Venom had to get that move done, or else then he might have dropped out of DRS from the top two. As Magician speeds into the pit lane, and all this undercut that he's going to get is now just going to be wiped out.
Unbelievable. Big moment in the race. Magician, one of the easiest mistakes to make. Yeah, that's unbelievable. What a way to throw away what could have been an easy 1-2 for MVR. Yeah, that's so unfortunate for Magician. 5-second time penalty. Yeah, big ask for him now to make that gap to the likes of Furious and Joe Murphy once they both pit as well. But Joe Murphy and Furious going to keep leading the way so far. They've put a slight gap here to Shizou Venom. They're about 7/10 clear of Venom and Dan Jones and Sam as well. Dan Jones and Sam, I'll tell you what, very underrated race so far. Just carried on where they've been from the start, and it's working out well for them. 4th and 5th so far. They'll be pitting usually about the same time as the guys ahead. So we need to see what they decide to do as well. When do they pit for the medium tyres? They need to make sure though they've got enough of an advantage to regain all that time back that MVR are going to gain on them currently.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, Dan and Sam have just sat there at the back. I'm going to see Sam, sorry, not Sam. Dan had a little go earlier to get ahead of the soft line runners of Ogween and Magician, but they've just sat at the back. They've kept their noses out of trouble, and they've found themselves in a very good position where, what they could potentially trigger an undercut as Furious and Sam make a very early pit stop, I think.
Yeah, that's not something I would expect either. Medium tyres selected for Mr. TTM Furious for now. TTM called them in nice and early. I'm not sure what that call is. Maybe want to just hinder the advantage that Ogween and the Magician are going to gain. Ogween's already ahead of him. Coming out the pits now is for Furious. Where will Magician come out? Is he going to be ahead? He is ahead of Furious, but obviously Furious has now got that 1 lap fresher tyre than Magician, so yeah, I'm really not sure what the call was there, but it might have worked out. He's only 1.3 seconds off with fresher tyres. Sam has also made the call and is currently just in behind Furious as well, almost in that DRS gap as well. But the front here, Dan Jones looking to get past Shizou Venom here for second place, going around the outside into the corner. Venom backs out, and Dan Jones takes second place from the Shizou driver.
Yeah, Venom was just trying to burn all his ERS just so he could try and stick in the DRS of Joe Murphy. But if I was Venom, I'd just just use Dan with his DRS, close back in again, and just, go again another lap. But I expect all of them now to have to respond, and they're going to have to hit, because obviously that undercut is powerful. I mean, Ogween is now in a bit of a train behind Justin and Arch. Arch might actually do a team favour here, as indeed, yes, the top three all do pit now, going to go onto those medium tyres to the end of the race, as Venom gets very close to the back of Dan Jones there, obviously a lot more confident on the brakes.
Yeah, pit stop's now made by those guys on the mediums. I tell you what, though, is that soft strategy selected by MVR has worked out perfectly, because everyone didn't really pit that much later than them. Ogween is on like a lot older tyres than the rest of them, but still, Magician only 2 laps older. Furious only got 1 lap fresher, so the difference won't be big. Coming out of the pits though, Joe Murphy and Furious battling there. Furious is ahead of Joe Murphy and will be in that net P3 position. Sam is ahead of Joe Murphy as well, actually. Big battle going on there. Sam's through and in ahead of Joe Murphy, so 4th place for Sam. Joe Murphy in 5th, still waiting on a pit stop from the likes of Simbarox 1, Justin and Arch as well. Hopefully Arch isn't going to be too much of a difference here for these front runners. Can Arch going to play a bit of a hold up for his teammate? I'm not sure it's really going to benefit him, but still, he could just hinder MVR if he felt like it.
Well, both Justin and Arch were trying to hinder Ogween there. Ogween, though, made a great double move down into turn 3 and then through turn 4. Justin definitely trying to hold him up as much as he can for his teammate Joe Murphy, as Arch goes for a move around the outside. And Magician now is going to get held up big style by both of them.
Yeah, you can see it here with Justin there. Just letting him through. Look at Magician and PSR Arch going wheel to wheel. Arch just doesn't have the grip advantage. Then MVR Magician claims P4 on track. Fantastic from Magician, but remember though, he still does have that 5-second time penalty. Furious as well, getting that move done on BRT. Justin's into the pit lane anyway, and we'll get everyone's way along with PSR Arch. Simbarox 1 also into the pit, so now MVR Ogween takes the lead of the race so far. MVR Magician completing that MVR 1-2, currently in the race, 12 more laps to go. Furious in 3rd, Joe Murphy in 4th, Sam and Dan in 5th and 6th, Venom in 6th, Nico in 8th, AMS Gergo in 9th, Oxtez in 10th, AMS Kieran in 11th, Bourbon Boy 12th, and Big Battle going on there, but Patrick Ligger 13th and Sasha Andre in 14th.
Yes, as that's everyone that's now, apart from Bourbon Boy, everyone has made a pit stop. I wonder if Bourbon's actually just going to stay out until maybe try and bank on a safety car, or could he go onto the soft tyres? Bit of a gamble, but I think his race is near enough done and dusted unless, like I say, something happens. But MVR haven't quite got the gap they would have anticipated or wanted, as Furious now going for the move on Magician, DRS activated, and that's as easy as it comes.
Yeah, Magician through it goes again on Joe Murphy. My game is lagging and the battles Magician went straight on.
I thought he did as well, though. I had exactly the same thing.
Really close there, but anyway, Furious still in 2nd place. Ogween, that tyre advantage from Furious could benefit him later on as the race goes on. Once these tyres get a bit more worn down towards the final few laps, Furious might make that overtake on Ogween to give TTM that win here for the first round of AEC TRS Season 3 here in Melbourne. They'll start off lap 18 though. Ogween still leads away, Furious 2nd, and Magician rounding out the podium.
Yeah, Joe Murphy now closing in onto the back of Magician. Obviously, Joe Murphy, one of the first drivers who has actually the newest tyres on the car, as we've got a yellow flag in 6th. I think that's Trey once again, unfortunately going for another spin. But yeah, Joe Murphy, I think, will want to get a move done on Magician quite soon. Obviously, he has the fresher tyres. He'll want to use them to his advantage. He has both got pretty much similar ERS levels, but you know, this top 7, obviously, for what it was to begin with, has actually reshuffled quite a bit, because Venom, who is actually, you know, in the midst of this train, is now at the back of this train.
Yeah, it was, as you said, in the midst of the train. Now he's at the back. He's got some, I wouldn't say catching up to do, because he is still involved in this train. At the front here, still a big battle going on between Ogween, Furious and Magician. It's really hard for Furious here, because he's not got that help of Zach Oates down in P10 currently, who's getting his overtake done on AMS Gergo. But yeah, it's really unfortunate. But Joe Murphy, though, going for the outside move on Furious all of a sudden. I didn't even spot that one. Furious on the outside, on the inside, sorry. Joe Murphy on the outside. Furious going to instantly for the next corner. Oh, they tap wheels. It looks like, look at the inside. Oh, look at Magician as well on the inside. Through goes Furious. Magician gets 3rd. And Joe Murphy has mixed his field up massively. Ogween's got a gap now. Furious in 2nd, Joe Murphy 3rd, MVR Magician now in 4th place. What has just went on in that final corner?
I think Joe Murphy was going for the move on Magician round the outside, and Furious broke so early that Joe Murphy then decided to try to go for another double overtake, but this time round the outside, and it nearly paid off. But well, as a result, Ogween briefly was out of the DRS and had over a second gap, but that tyre advantage straight away, that has just been diminished, and it's back as we were, but what it's done is it's brought this whole 7-car train much closer together. The top 7 separated by 2 seconds.
It's exactly what you want to see. Exactly what you want to see in the first race of TRS this season. 10 more racing laps to go here in Melbourne, and Ogween still leads the way on the oldest tyres on this train. Furious in 2nd, and Joe Murphy with the freshest tyres on this train sat in 3rd currently as well. Maybe we can see some more overtakes as Gergo. That's Dan Jones!
Oh, it's Dan!
3-second time penalty. That's so heartbreaking for the FRT driver. What could have been a P5 and P4 for them now turns into possibly a P4 and maybe a P7. So unfortunate for FRT. But Dan has now got that chance to use a bit of battery and maybe help his teammate out a little bit more now.
Yeah, I think what he'll do now is he'll play as the second driver role and try and hold up Venom as much as possible. But what will that... Venom will now obviously have to get an overtake done if he wants to get further up the field. I mean, he's, you know, obviously Magician does have that 5-second time penalty himself, but Magician will also want to, you know, stay where he is in P4 and try and go for him. As Joel Murphy now going for the move on Furious on the inside into turn 3.
Get that move done almost.
So close, but Furious dives back up on the inside. Furious is not wanting to give up that position. I don't think Furious wants to go for the move on Ogween just yet until he's got a bit more battery saved, just so that he can try and pull a gap. But Joe is getting quite impatient. I think he wants to get this move done and dusted as soon as he can.
he's hindering himself almost as well, though. Whenever he doesn't get that move done, he's just giving people behind time to get closer and closer to himself. So he knows what the penalties behind. He also knows about Magician and Dan being on those 5 and 3 second time penalties. But you know, if you're going to go for the move, you really want to get it done, especially in this situation now, where he's a lot closer and forces Furious into a move for the lead. Furious on the inside now on MVR Ogwyn. It looks like he's going to hold it for second place. Ogwyn holds the outside. Oh, it does. Magician. Magician's been spun round. What's going on there in the background? I missed it. Bob, or did you catch it by any chance?
I missed it myself. I think Sam may have outbroke himself. It was definitely one of the FRT. Oh, Venom's in the pits for damage. Venom has picked up damage. He must have been caught in the aftermath of it. But that's so unfortunate. Yeah, I didn't quite catch the whole thing. But if he's asked to have his wing changed, it hasn't changed it.
Is it possible that Venom might have hit the back of Magician?
It sounds
like a possibility.
He was 3 places behind Magician. Magician was P4 and Venom was P7. So unless he's gone for a dive bomb on 2 FRT drivers, I wouldn't have thought so. But I definitely did see one of the FRT drivers was off the track. I think that was Sam. I suppose we're gonna have to see any clips and everything afterwards. But that's 2 drivers' races. Potentially, well, it's 1 driver's race now ruined, as Venom is now down in P16 on new tyres, but with no new front wing.
Yeah, Shizou currently only on for 1 point so far. Ogwyn making a move into turn number 11, and through 12 they come. Ogwyn in the lead of the race. Joe Murphy doesn't like that one though. He's coming right back at him on the inside line. Joe Murphy and Ogwyn going wheel to wheel once again into turn number 13 at Ascari. Through they go, and Joe Murphy takes the lead of the race once again. Ogwyn second, Furious in third place. This race is really ramping up now. And I'll tell you what though, I've just realised FRT are now confirmed 4-5 with the current gaps I've got behind them as well. So looking really good so far for those guys. If maybe Dan can assist Sam a little bit more, could be a podium on the cards here. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, I think they're going to have to swap positions. Obviously, Sam's the one without the penalty. He is harvesting at the moment, but if FRT play their cards right, Sam could actually, definitely pick up a podium. But I think what they might have to do is maybe Dan might have to go for the move. Dan has got the freshest tyres. He's got 6 lap old, same as Joe Murphy out in front. But he'll have to get a move done on Furious as quickly as he possibly can, as Ogwyn is struggling to stay within that 1 second window.
Yeah, it's looking like it so far. Joe Murphy's burned a lot of battery. Furious on the hand though, he's been saving that battery. He's on 80%. Currently in this train, I believe probably the most in this full train. He's got that 80% ERS advantage on Joe Murphy, and it looks like on Ogwyn as well so far. So he can use that to his advantage later on in the race when he wants to make the overtakes happen. He can use that coming down the big straight on the exit of turn 12, like we see Joe Murphy do it a lot as well on Ogwyn, and when he went for the inside line. We've seen so many collisions, so it's always putting drivers off going on the inside line out of turn 12.
Yeah, most definitely. I'll tell you someone who's actually having a quiet race we haven't spoken about. He's making his way through the field. It's Simba Rocks 1, up into P7 now. And is also on the freshest tyres in this whole top 10. Could he make a little challenge? He could get P6 if he goes in on Nico. And with Dan with his penalty, could he get a top 5?
Yeah, AMS Gergo, once again, another one that's had a quiet race. 2 drivers you wouldn't expect, to be honest with you, being in that top 7 in AFG and AMS, having a great first round here. And TRS Gergo is on the back of Simba Rocks 1, though, 3 second gap between himself and Nico. So I think currently Simba Rocks 1 will claim P6 because he's obviously gone a lot faster than Nico. 4 laps fresh tyres. As Venom's retired in the pits. I thought he'd been at the wall. He's retired in the pits, and he's unfortunately. That is the end of Shizou Venom's race. I think you were right, Bob, he didn't change his front wing. He's just had enough and called it a day. PSR Arch still in the point scoring position so far. P12, not a lot of points, mind you. Yeah, but unfortunately, it's been one of those races for Shizou. Caught up in incidents and also maybe caused incidents on their own behalf as well.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we don't know what happened with Venom, but obviously it's the I can't remember what turn number that is now. The end of the DRS straight. But I'll tell you one thing that has happened is FRT have dropped out of DRS from the front 3. Joe Murphy's pace, is it a bit too much for them?
You know, it might just be. I'm not sure though, because Furious, we know, has got a lot of battery currently saved up. We go through the current field of where they all are. Ogwyn's on 57%. Joe only on 17%. So, you know, it could be like, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure, to be honest with you. It really could go either way, but it all matters when Furious depends to burn on his battery. He's got a 5-lap race ahead of us now for the win currently. Dan Jones got a penalty. He's ruled out. FRT Sanchez has been dropped by his teammate in 5th place, but he'll get that 4th place position due to Dan's penalty. But these 3 ahead, no penalties, is a straight out battle for who's going to win this first race of AEC TRS. Any prediction in the chat, please put them in. Is it going to be a BRT, NVR, or TTM first race of the season?
Yeah, it's what you want to see. You know, 3 drivers from 3 different teams slogging it away for the, for all 3 places. Magician now picks up a 3-second time penalty. That's 8 seconds worth of penalty for him. And at the moment, that actually takes Magician out of the points altogether for NVR. So Ogwin is going to be is going to be their breadwinner today, as it currently stands. But yeah, Furious, Ogwin, Joe Murphy, different strategy. Obviously, all different strategies, all on different age tires. The one big difference, though, is that Joe Murphy has a lot less battery to the other 2.
Yeah, that's probably been the main difference in this train so far. Dan Jones is also still with them, mind you. So even though he's got that penalty, he can still get a good result on track if he feels like it. He could get involved in that battle for the lead and possibly help Sam a little bit if any collisions were to happen ahead. But TF10 Nico also still sat in 6th place, so he might hold out if that gap to December 1 is anywhere in the 3-second gap range. We'll just have a double check of all the penalties for you. 3 seconds for Dan Jones, 3 seconds for Nico, 3 for Oxtez, 8 for MVR Magician. On the outside though comes PR Furious in the meantime, going for an MVR Ogwin. He's backed out luckily now. That could have ended badly, being smart driving there from Furious, but that gap between Joe Murphy and Ogwin's just got bigger due to that battling. Not sure what's going on there, but yeah, not looking good so far if we're going to keep battling like that, because on the other hand, BRT Joe Murphy is pulling it away on the freshest tyres of both of them.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, Furious is now going to have to go for the move because he sees that gap opening up, and both of them are on the battery, both with DRS. But look at that gap that's just gone from 9 tenths nearly to a second down to 2 tenths of a second between Joe Murphy and Ogwin. So the DRS and with the ERS is so powerful, but Furious needs to get a move done if he wants to have any chance on having a look at Joe Murphy in the latter stages. But Ogwin parking his car in the perfect place, and Furious can't find a way through.
Yeah, they just cannot find that gap to sneak through, but they're still so fast. They're keeping up with Joe, even though he's got the fresher tyres. Reminder though, Furious only has like 1 lap later tyres than Joe Murphy. Ogwin, on the other hand, was 3 laps later. So, it's understandable if Ogwin's struggling, but Furious really shouldn't be struggling that much more. He has burned a bit of battery, mind you now. 56% to be precise, he's down to, with 3 more laps to go in this race. Furious still 3rd, Ogwin 2nd, Joe Murphy in 4th. It's still just swaying either way. Who's going to take the win? It's looking likely, though, that Joe Murphy might just hold out.
Yeah, I think, Joe's actually in a good position right now. I mean, obviously, it's easy enough for me to say that because he's leading this race, but because he's got the freshest tyres, he's not having to use his battery, and he's not really under any pressure whatsoever from Ogwin because of that 3-lap tyre deficit. So Joe can just stay out in front if he wants to, as much as he wants, not have to burn his battery. As to what Ogwin is doing, is Ogwin looks like he actually might be going for a move, as I'm eating my own words here. Oh, there's contact. There was definitely contact, unless that was lag.
No, definitely contact on my side as well. Big battling going on now. They're really starting to ramp up this race to see who wants to take the lead and who actually wants to lead going into these final laps, because they all know how crucial DRS is. Deep on the brakes is Furious into turn number 12 there. It's really, really getting...
it's getting feisty.
Almost impatient, and feisty in this battle. As Furious knows he's faster than Ogwin, but he just can't get through. He doesn't want to burn ERS, he needs it for the final lap, but he also wants to make sure that he's in that gap ahead, that he's still got DRS to assist him on the overtake of Joe Murphy for the lead.
Definitely, yeah. And it looked like as well that I think Dan wants to get involved in this, but I think and he would if he didn't have that 3-second penalty, because again, he's got the fresher tyres just like Joe Murphy does. But yeah, Ogwin burning a lot of battery there to close right in, and I think Ogwin is just trying to consolidate that 2nd place finish because he hasn't got the pace of Joe, obviously, as we've seen, but this DRS straight here. It is so powerful. He's 8 tenths behind here enough, and he's going to be pretty much right on the back of him as we go into the left right. But Furious this time not burning the battery, saving it, but he's going to have to go for the move soon.
Yeah, they really need to be. Trey is not having a good day.
No,
not having a good day for TF10. unfortunately for TF10 Trey. But TF10 Nico on the hand though, holding out for yeah, there you go, that is it for TF10 Trey. He has called it a day. I think that's for the better. He's not had the greatest of day, to be honest with you. But Nico though looks to be holding out for a possible P8 on track currently, because sorry, P6 on track, but P8 in the end, because he's currently got that 3-second time penalty, and Gergo and Simbarox 1 are closing that gap rapidly. To be honest with you, Gergo especially, he's been really quick for AMS today, and it's really proven to be a valuable asset for them for the rest of the season. But they carry on though, 2 more laps to go in this race at the front. Furious third, Ogween second. Who's going to finally make some sort of manoeuvre and want to take the lead of the race?
I think for Furious, he's going to have to make a move on Ogwyn this lap at any given point. He's got the battery to do it. He's got 65%, but, you know, I mean, Ogwyn's got a little bit less, but he's going to have to make this move. He's going to have to get it done now if he wants any chance to have a go at Joe Murphy on the final lap. But just looking at it, he briefly burned the battery, but now he's just turned it off again. I don't think Furious is going to get this done, you know.
Is he waiting a bit too long? Is he playing scared almost to make any sort of manoeuvre on Ogween? Because Ogween knows the tyres are oldest, so holding out a P2 currently is a pretty strong result. Even if he can go for a little bit on the final lap, he didn't want to gift a win to Furious in that case, because he maybe thinks that TTM's a bigger threat than BRT this season. But only time will tell. They're all going to come on to one final lap. We're going to see it for one final time. They're all going to go through every single corner for one more time. Furious still sat in third. He's almost gearbox in Ogween there. Joe Murphy is in the lead. He's 5 tenths clear of MVR Ogween. The last lap of the race, lap 29 and 29, as we kick it off now. Dan Jones still in this train as well, but he's got a 3-second time penalty that will be overtaken by his teammate in the end. Joe Murphy, we know does not have a lot of VRS. Ogween in second as well. We know has a little bit, but not as much as Furious, who's going to carry on with the rest of this train. They're all just going to carry on following each other, I'm going to guess, until around turn number 8.
Oh!
They're going to jump onto that main straight. Someone hits the back there. That was close.
Furious,
between the front,
Furious tapping the back of Ogween there. He wasn't late on the brakes, but just getting caught out by Ogween with this, you know, the slow traction coming out the corner, and well, that's put the gap up to Joe Murphy. But here we go now. Batteries being burned.
It might
Joe
just
is
be
already harvesting.
It might just be time. Joe, as you said, yeah, he's flashing at that rear diffuser. Ogween's not really closing in enough. PR Furious isn't closing enough. Ogween go for the inside line though. He's been spun! Ogween's been spun round by Joe Murphy. DRS now opens for Furious though. Can he be the one to steal the win from BRT Joe Murphy? He's completely hit Ogween out the way. Trying to force Joe into a mistake goes Furious, but it looks like it might just be game over for TTM Furious. He might have just left it that little bit too late in the end, but it's looking it's going to go to one man today. That collision might have a talking point in the stewards, but we'll wait till that happens, because BRT Joe Murphy is going to cross the line first and win the opening round of TRS. It's BRT Joe Murphy who wins for Bunga Racing Team. TTM in second, and FRT claim a podium in third place. Ogween comes home in fourth, FRT Sam in fifth. What a race, what a battle in the end. Joe Murphy comes out on top though.
Well, provisionally, my prediction there comes out clutch, but yeah, that's definitely a big talking point. Definitely one that's probably going to be sent to the stewards. I mean, to me, it looked like Ogween just went for a move that just wasn't there. Joe did leave in the space, but I think it's one of those where I think Ogween just went for a move that just wasn't there. But again, well, we'll see what MVR think. But great start for Bunga Racing Team. And for TTM and FRT, as you said, getting that third place, they'll be extremely happy with that. Third and fifth, actually, in the end for FRT, is a very good day.
Yeah, exactly that. FRT, fantastic day for them. That's a podium place to their name already in the first round of the season. But a win for BRT and TTM sat in second place. There could be a possible talking point from the stewards due to that last lap battle there between BRT Joe Murphy and Ogween. But in the meantime though, ladies and gentlemen, that has been your Tier 1 Tier S opening round. Joe Murphy comes home in first place, Furious in second with a fastest lap as well. That's an extra point either the TTM score. Dan Jones in third, MVR Ogween in fourth, Sam in fifth. Tell you what, Bobbers, Simbarox won. What a result for him. 6th place for Simbarox winning FG. AMS Gergo in 7th. TF10 Nico in 8th. Oxtez in 9th. MVR Magician in 10th. Shasha Andre 11th. Patrick Legger in 12th. BRT Justin in 13th. And Arch does end up holding out for that final podium place. And AMS Kieran, Bourbon Boy, FRC Rappies, Trey Venom, and FRC Alex all DNFing today. Bobberts, who would you give your driver of the day to?
I mean, I want to give it to Joe because obviously, he had that issue at the start. He did drop down to sixth place, but obviously he fought his way through the field, and to come, from sixth to first as he was at that particular point is a really good recovery. But at the same time, you look at Dan getting that third place finish. There's a lot of people you could give it to, but for me, it's Joe Murphy.
Personally, for me, I'm going to go for Simba Rocks 1. I think that's a
Yeah,
fantastic result for
you
FG,
can't argue with
especially.
that. Mm.
P6 on their first race first race of TRS season 3. They had some good results last season. They had a podium in Monaco with Haloginak, and I tell you what, that's definitely one they're gonna remember for a little while. What a race, though! Tell you what, though, Bob, there's no safety cars in Australia was something I did not expect. But congratulations, everyone! Thank you for being as clean as we could possibly be with no safety cars. I know there was a couple of collisions, but they will be dealt with later on by everyone. But yeah, thank you for taking part. Bobberts, next week though, we are off to. I've actually forgotten. I'm going to pull the calendar screen up now whilst we're here.
Kota.
We're off to Kota. Yeah, we are indeed off to Kota. I know yourself took a pole position in WR Tier 2. Are we likely to see Mr. ESV Bobberts appear?
Unfortunately, not.
Ah,
Unfortunately, not.
got
No.
it.
As I said, the first round for me is probably going to be round 4. We've already done our lineups for the first 4 races. Obviously, no, I'm not going to say who's doing what apart from myself, but no, you might see me again in the comms box instead. Although I think based off tonight and the fact that our team's not done well, maybe not, but we'll see.
Yeah, not been a great day for Team Shazoo. Venom getting caught up in a couple of incidents. Arch as well, caught up in the start, but claimed a point, so you're not on 0. But you're not on the double digits just yet. But yeah, looking forward to Kota next week. Thank you everyone for tuning in once again. I'll catch you all at the exact same time next week, 8 PM. We are off to Kota for round number 2. See you all next week.